You.
Yeah, I'm at the door, bro.
All right, come to the side door.
All right, bet. We switch.
This episode has been brought to you by Chop Shop Part 2. It's not just a barbershop, it's also a salon.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, like barbers wop nowadays. Like you actually get paid good money nowadays.
50 a while. It used to be 10, 12.
That's what I was about to say, bro. I was hitting it
that's why
$10,
Rico in here
$15.
no
You wasn't making shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? $35, $40, $50 a cut, bro. You doing them.
And then
weekly.
if you get booked all day, I got my set money coming
Exactly.
in.
You know exactly
And
what it is.
if you don't come up, you better give me like a deposit on that.
Oh, they do.
Or I know, but that's what I do too. Like I miss a haircut with Rico. And I usually give him 50. I just sent him 25 because I was like, I fucked up, bro. I got fucked up last night. I forgot about it.
You took a
Ciroc
shot.
joint? Tequila?
You took a shot of some Aruba shit. It was fucked up.
Aruba, man.
What?
Crown Royal?
Is Aruba and Jamaica the same thing?
Chill, bro.
Patron.
You're so cultured.
What?
No, that's all. It is a little bit
That's
something,
spit.
man.
That's spit.
Shut up.
That's Rico's spit.
I'm not drinking Rico's spit.
Bro, that's not. Hey, he wasn't even here.
motherfucking
You think,
vodka,
bro, this
bro.
is
You think
better than
motherfuckers be
Patron.
taking it like straight to the neck?
Niggas
Like,
be.
No, we haven't
That's
done that.
all lit,
Literally,
bro.
I swear to God, it
I
has
take
not
my
one
chances
time.
with the bottle to the head, bro.
Which one?
is that Crown Apple?
You want Crown? You want Ciroc?
I'll take a shot of that.
That's what I was about to say. I was
Berry
thinking
or the pineapple?
Berry, cuz. You know he's blooded up.
That berry is disgusting.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Fuck.
All right, just
It's
do the
actually-
pineapple.
It's actually watermelon.
Or do you want that cheap ass?
Just do the
I was
pineapple.
thinking the same exact thing, bro.
With that vodka?
That berry is no.
That's your
That cheap
water
ass
right
vodka back there? You don't want that shit?
What is that?
Nah, you don't give him that shit.
That's the shit I brought,
Kill me.
motherfuckers.
Trying to
What the fuck?
kill me, bro.
We don't trust. That's like drinking that.
I'm a warrior.
What's that DMX drink?
That's what fiends buy when they want to get lit.
Right.
Yeah.
You remember
I
after
can drop
DMX
that
died?
bottle if I fall. That thing gonna be intact.
Owner 2 barbershops. Got the shoe John on deck. Got to be a dope boy to get them.
What's the store called? What's the store called?
Pressure.
Okay, fire.
He got
fire.
pressure. He got Chop Shop 2.
Chop Shop 1, Chop Shop 2,
Okay.
and Harris Unlimited.
He's now worth.
Oh yeah,
10
yeah. Actually, you know what's
$10
crazy?
million.
What's crazy is I hit him up. No. I hit him up and asked him about a little bit of work that I needed done to my house, and he said, "Yeah, I got some people that can, do those certain kind of things." He's like, "Yeah, I got a whole company." I'm like, "What do you mean company?" I'm thinking that he has barbershops and then he has a shoe shop.
No,
he said,
he got his like his.
he said, "I got my
contract.
LLCs as far as contracting and everything like that." Harris Unlimited. I'm like, "What?" He said, "Look it up."
Google me.
He said, "Look it
Google
up."
me.
I was like, "What?" Looked real Harris Unlimited, bruh. Like literally, this man's been grinding since came from the fucking mud, bruh. From the absolute mud. Like I'm super. This one is real personal to me. You know what I'm saying? Because we grew up together.
Man, I barely know him. So
Our families were so tied in to each other, and to see.
you got a family? I mean, I know he got one now, but like he came from
Yeah, man, it came from a huge family actually.
for real. Who's his pops?
Shit.
Marco.
Don't matter.
It got
Big
so
Marco.
quiet.
Yeah.
His name Marco.
No, I'm just saying Big Marco. We're gonna go with that. But literally, you know what I'm saying, from what he came from to where he is now is a true testament of just grinding. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of my brother. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead and tap into this part, but love you, boy. You know what I'm saying? We had a good
Love you
practice.
too,
Good basketball practice today. Nobody was making no shots, but
Yeah, it was Brick City, but we're gonna fix that too.
right.
Let's talk about that grind, bro. Cause you always been a hustler of some sorts. I remember you and Mo back with the Pokemon days.
Yeah.
Even yo-yos. You know what I'm saying? I remember all that. Like what I guess what kind of, I don't want to say drives you, but like what separates you from everybody else? Because we all come from the mud.
Before that,
How do you
the
start?
mud, yeah, exactly. The
What
story
was your
from the
first
mud,
venture?
like
Because you've been selling cars, cutting hair.
Before all that, before you felt like you had to grind, what was the story before you had to grind?
You want me to tell it?
Survival. I mean, I feel that a lot of like my motivation and a lot of my just dedication to my hustle, it comes from initially just using it to survive. You know what I mean? Just using it to get the bare minimum things that a lot of you guys just naturally had. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys just naturally had these things just given to you. I wasn't. So at a very young age, I just learned to try to accommodate the things I want in life by any means necessary. And eventually, Pokemon cards turned to paintball guns, turned to cars, to now I'm selling six-figure houses multiple times throughout the year. I mean, it didn't start when I became an adult. It didn't start like, oh, you're 18, you got to fend for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and me and my brothers, this just been our mindset since forever. You know what I mean? And then eventually,
Do you feel like you got that from your older brother?
no, I got that.
Did you see that drive? Like, did you see it? Was it something that you just grabbed yourself, or was it something that you saw? Like, did you see some hunger in somebody else, and
Like,
then
who was around you that influenced you?
that you were like, you know what, I want to go ahead and dive, you know what I'm saying, and get it like he's getting it.
Do you feel like it's something you can't explain?
No, if anything, I feel like it comes from pain. You know what I mean? Like my motivation, if anything, comes from pain. It comes from failing. It comes from, you know what I mean, just you telling me I can't do something, I can't have something, then okay, I'm gonna find a way to get it. You know what I mean? You not believing in me, you doubting my plan. Like I never forget the day one night we went out Irish pub, and I told Mo, you know what I mean, we was out with Mo. It was the first time I seen him in years, and I told him, I was like, yo, I'm about to be a barber, and he laughed at me. I mean, he laughed at me.
You be
Like,
taking that shit too personal.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
he laughed at me. He was like, bro, you don't be no fucking barber. Barbers is broke, da-da-da-da. And I mean, he laughed at me. And I didn't take it as an insult. It's like, listen, this is just
Motivation.
This is more reason for me to motivate. Another scenario, I mean, this dumb fuck, I bought a house on 3rd Avenue one time.
No.
I remember.
I was going to bring this up. Let's preface this, though. Whose truck was over there, backed up to the doorstep?
It was my bros. That was
mine, motherfucker.
I get you. But listen, man, I purchased my very first house ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To move my family into, and I needed to move shit out of it from like the current owner, and he was the only one who knew the truck. So I hit Job. I'm like, yo, I need you to come help me move this. So boom, you know, he comes right through. He helps him move in. As soon as he walks in, he walks
And
around.
as soon as Job gets in, what's Job going to do? He's going to Job.
He walks
He's gonna
through,
Job.
and he turns around, he looks at me, and he says, "What'd you pay for this?" And I was like, $30,000. He was like, "Ha! You got fucking beat." This is what he said right to my face. And he screams on me, laughs. He's like, "Why the fuck would you pay $30,000?"
Meanwhile, it was just me and him. So
yeah, it was just me and him. I agree, though. It was just me and him at the audience. So, I mean, he just
I'm
rips the
consistent.
idea that I just spent.
I'm like, man, they couldn't have gave this shit to me.
Yeah, like I just spent. You know what I mean? This is a dream house. At least my family's first house, not the final, but I purchased that house
With the apartment in the back.
and I mean I lived in it for 6 years, and I sold it for $150,000. So
It's a great, hey, man.
a dream that
But not
he
only
laughs
that,
at.
But whenever I came down there and I saw like how he was moving, working, had the HVAC guy come in and had to put all his vents in. I'm like, all right, like I knew what he wanted to do, because whenever I was in there, I did say, I was like, this is a big ass house. Like this is
Right.
This potential in this house is crazy. And then when I came there and he invited everybody down, for
I remember when
the
I first
boxing
time
match,
I went in
damn.
that crib, right? When I first time I went in that crib, I'll never forget. So he shows me the whole crib, then we get to the kitchen, right? We get to the
The
kitchen.
backsplash.
So look, hold on.
I know, he did the same thing to me.
Hold on. We get to the crib, right?
Y'all ain't
He's
got
like,
no
"Hey, yo."
ovens like this?
He's like, yo, check. He said, check the backsplash out, man. This shit is dope as fuck. I look at the backsplash, it's crazy. He has an island where his stove is. The stove is where the island is.
Hit me with the same shit.
I look at the fucking backsplash, and I look down, and the backsplash is behind the stove all the way to the ground, right? I'm like looking at him, I'm like, why the fuck did you put the backsplash all the way to the ground? Can't nobody see it. He said, because I can.
Sterile.
I'm talking about,
Meanwhile,
it was all the way to the
it's
ground.
supposed to actually go
It was
around
literally
it.
all the way to the ground, like literally behind the thing, all the way to the ground. I look behind and I'm like, why? That's like a bunch of money. It's a bunch of money down there. that you just put down there for no reason.
Yeah, he got excited because I was like, man, this place really looks nice, man. This came together with what he was like. And because when you brought up like a month ago when you told me that, because when he was like this, he was like, man, I appreciate that, man, for real. And I was just like, why is he like, he does, stupid? Like, we knew you was remodeling the house to come live in here. Like, this is exactly what I thought you was doing. It just looks a lot better, you know what I mean? The final product. He was just, yeah, man, now I know why.
He set it up.
He was like,
set
that
it up.
motherfucker Joe.
But that's a huge thing going from the house with 60 plants on the porch.
Ferns everywhere.
To literally, like, I'm talking about where he grew up to where he came. It was a great thing. It was a great thing for sure. That was your first crib you bought.
Yeah, that was the first crib I purchased outright to keep. Yeah.
Now, there's somebody.
Not investment property.
There's somebody watching this right now that's like, I mean, I hear you say it comes from pain, but like the mental process of, because I see you take stuff and you like creatively find a way to make it valuable. How do you do that? Because I remember the Pokemon days for you. I remember the real estate. I remember the early barber days. You always were able to go from this ain't no hobby, this ain't none of that, to making it valuable and making it as successful as possible. Everything that you touched. You know what I'm saying? Like how did you do that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like as I said, it comes from, if anything I could say, the way I was raised was more or less like, I didn't really have never had a father, you know what I mean? I never really had a parent, so more or less I just had my brothers, you know what I mean? So not just my brothers that I just live with, you know what I mean? Siblings, people that I went to school with. So I had to learn from other people, and I had to learn from my mistakes and other people's mistakes at a young age, you know what I mean? And that's what eventually those skills and those ways of, you know what I mean, taking salt and turning it to sugar eventually became taking houses and abandoned houses and turning them into, you know what I mean, somebody's dream home. So if anything, I could say it was the pressure that just me and my brothers had, that we went through. I mean, it was just, my mom's method is sink or swim. So at a very young age, we learned to swim. And eventually, you know what I mean, when other kids had life jackets on and other kids was getting carried around in the pool by their parents because they couldn't swim, we learned to swim. And at some point in age, you just start to swim towards things that you want. You start to swim towards goals. And I feel that I, at a very young age, just learned to swim, and I learned to swim towards shit that I wanted. And no matter what you give me, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna find a way to make it into what it is I want.
I knew Marco just, you know what I'm saying, school and everything coming up. He was always y'all's age, but I didn't see him that often until we crossed into a different, you know what I mean, level. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, you know, runners gonna run in, you know, whatever. So, but whenever I first noticed he was like this, I remember him telling me, he's like, oh, he's getting his barber like he's cutting hair. Did you get up in like Pittsburgh or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So then he was like this, he was like, he started cutting hair out the house. I remember we used to go to him all the time, right? We've been down with Marco for
up in New Brighton.
The big blue house.
My first house.
So, and then he was like this, oh, I need a space. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying, like, whenever you start, so did you start gathering the money, put it together? Did you have to go to the bank to get them to front you for the space?
No,
or
I had it.
Did you just rent it?
I had it.
You just
Let's start at the spot up in Pittsburgh. What did you see up in Pittsburgh that made you say, yo, let me open my own joint versus just licking off of a chair?
I never intended to really own my own barbershop. That was never my intention. At that point in time,
presented itself.
Yeah, at that point in time, you could really only go to get a beauty degree, or you could take an apprentice under somebody who already has a barber license. And even to this day, barber shops don't really just give people apprenticeships. I mean, it's an easy way to just give somebody their license for no money, as opposed to somebody who's giving the state $15,000, $20,000 to learn how to get cut. So I can just put you under my wing for 9 months. You learn to cut. You go take your test. You're a licensed barber. You don't pay nothing. That is considered like, barbershops don't naturally want to do that because it's for competition reasons.
Yeah.
They don't do that. So if they do, they try to make you sign like no compete contracts to where I'm gonna teach you how to be a barber, I'm gonna teach you how to be this, but then you got to sign this contract to where you'll never work within 15 miles of one of my barber shops. Or you know what I mean? Damn. You got to work.
Makes sense though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. You know what I mean?
It does, but that
to me
protects money.
it's severe. So at that point in time, nobody would give me a chance. Nobody would give me an opportunity or an apprentice, and I wouldn't sign a no compete contract. So I had to go to Mr. Sales up in Pittsburgh, which just happened to be God's plan. To be honest with you, I mean, just jumped on the internet one day and just found him. And
wasn't there a situation when you were a barber, like you were cutting hair in East Liverpool?
No,
Wasn't East Liverpool?
East Liberty.
East Liberty.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, East
See how
Liberty.
your
That's
bros
what
don't know
Johnson
your
and
story?
Sales is.
Okay.
Yeah, it was East Liberty.
See, that's what I'm
Pittsburgh,
talking
yeah.
about though. Like, what drove you to be like, you know what? Let me Google this. You know what I'm saying?
I called every barbershop in
What,
this area.
what made you do that though? Because I feel like the average person.
When
is-
did you start cutting hair? Like,
the
when did you
average
think that there was a route to go?
the average person has a skill and they be like, oh, I want to do this, but they
'Cause I know
but they
maybe-
won't do that. You know what I'm saying?
'Cause I know they had to do
It's
great
crazy
right?
because our whole lives, Marco's never been no artist.
Yeah.
He's never been an artist, and cutting hair is an art.
He's the reason
It really
why I went
is.
bald.
You
dude.
gotta have the art.
It's literally an art.
It's an art.
But like, what made you say, oh, you know what? Let me dig and dig and dig.
I was working at Mitsubishi plant in Cranberry, and it was like a decent job. You know what I mean? It was like $15 an hour at the time, and like
that's
you know
great.
what I mean, it was
Oh, yeah, no,
decent.
back then we was-
It had-
was that for real?
Yeah, it had benefits. You know
That's
what I
back
mean?
when minimum wage
That's
was
an
what,
alright-
six?
that's an alright amount of
Minimum
money.
wage was
Yeah,
what,
man,
$5?
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, back then. I mean, we honestly were making the parts to the Dallas Cowboys TV, like the big TV that's in the stadium. We helped them make them parts for it. So I was working there. I had I had a decent job, and my daughter was young. She had to be like maybe two years old at the time, and it was just a decent job. You know what I mean? It was a way to make
was
things.
income.
Yeah, it was income. You know what I mean? But it didn't satisfy me and my appetite, and I just wanted to be a barber. I was like, man, I don't want to work for nobody. I want to be able to own my craft and just own myself to where if somebody were to fire me or if a company wasn't going to give me a
Right.
job, then it would hurt you to lose me more than it would hurt me to lose you. You
So
know
it was
what I mean?
about getting to ownership.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I had to
Okay.
own my craft.
See,
I
now
had to
this
own
makes sense.
something. You know what I mean?
So then you thought to yourself, okay, I want to cut hair. I need to own
Yeah.
I need to go into the route of I'm working for me. You know
I
what mean?
needed to go into a route to where my background wouldn't
So that's when you started asking people.
wouldn't hinder me
So
from
let,
my
Yeah.
accomplishments.
Right.
We're gonna let you finish, but I want y'all to first take that away. His initial mindset was ownership is making sure can't nobody take nothing away.
Who the fuck was you talking to?
We talking to the people.
Right.
There's thousands, millions of people listening. His first mindset was, if I go into ownership, can't nobody take it away. All right, so you went to Pittsburgh, you Googled how you can.
No, he asked all the barbers around here
I
if
asked
they would do an
everybody
apprenticeship.
around.
And everybody was like, nah, I'm not really doing
Nah,
that right now.
Mickey's, you know what I mean? Everybody, any barbershop in the area I asked, nobody would give me a
even the
position.
white Jones?
Yeah, they are.
That wasn't even
They're
in
all
your
the white
market?
Johns.
No,
Nobody did
Jackson.
that.
It was just Jackson and then what was the new Brighton folks? Clip joint? Clip joint?
Clip joint, and then
None
you
of
had
them.
Trent.
Well, no, Clip joint was
Clip
done
Joint
at
had
that
been
point,
down,
right?
you know what I'm saying?
None of them.
It was
wasn't a single
Buddy
shop
joint.
in Beaver County that give me an apprenticeship. None, without a no compete clause. None. I called them all. So I reached out to Allegheny County, in which I want to say Craigslist. If I'm correctly, it was either Craigslist or some sort of wanted ad online. It asked for a barber. It was trying to hire a barber, and at the time I didn't know how to cut hair. I only ever cut my little brother's hair, but he wanted a barber. So I called him up, and rather than all the times I was calling around Beaver County asking for an apprenticeship, like, hey, will you give me an apprentice? I never cut hair before. I called him up and I said, I am a barber. I said, I just don't have a license. I said, I know how to cut hair. I've been cutting hair for years. I just don't have a license.
Hey, yo,
And
sometimes you
would
just gotta
be
lie your
willing-
way in that bitch.
Would you be
But yeah,
willing
but it makes
to
sense
give me an
too.
apprenticeship
Yeah.
if I come and work for you?
So that's
And-
how you hit him with, I'm already cutting hair. I just
Yeah,
don't have
I'm
my
already
license right
cutting
now.
hair. I
But
told him that.
Do you
Did he
realize how
ask where he
crazy
was
your
from?
story is?
But no, but did he ask? But that makes sense though. You called him
why.
like, hey,
Bro, that's
you
exactly
want a
what he
barber?
did.
I am a barber. I don't have my
Exactly what
license
it was,
though.
bro.
But I know you could do
the
an
denial
And he's
from
from
all the
Beaver
other
County? They don't have
barbershops
to
in
worry
Beaver
about
County
competition?
telling me no. In the
So even
pain
if they
of
give
not
him that
happening.
no compete clause
No.
in Pittsburgh, it still
already
doesn't
well.
reach all the way back home.
He never brought it up.
There's no threat to them.
He never brought it up at all.
He never brought it up.
Oh, for real?
So you just you ran into
You
a real
never-
one. That's why you
oh.
say it's God's plan.
It was God's
Because you just
plan.
ran into a real
Ran
one.
right into him.
That
Ran
makes
right into
sense.
him.
All right.
He's Mr. Sales. He was 92 years old.
And what year was this?
Man, this
Should have went to Vito Sabone.
Man, I couldn't even tell you. Yeah,
Well,
you talking,
Bro,
08.
I don't know if you remember, but you told me a story about how when you worked up in the Berg, how there was 2 different barbers and how one of them was like just grinding and cutting, and the other one was not only grinding and cutting, but he was taking his money, investing, he
Mr.
was
Moon.
building.
Shout out to Mr. Moon.
Like, tell us that story of those 2 different types of people. You know what I'm saying? How they influenced you.
Mr. Moon was like real laid back and real smooth, but like Mr. Moon, he never settled for just like one sort of income. He never settled for just I'm a barber. He never settled for I'm just a radiologist. He never settled for just like one position. He would make all them jobs work for him, as opposed to Ty. All he wanted to do was just be a barber. That's just
Okay.
because it was just so easy for him. It was so relaxed. Didn't have to get up early. You know what I mean? People,
Was Ty old?
they both was old. They
were both old.
Both old men. Both old men. And then there was Mr. Sales, who was the one who gave me the chance, and he kind of spent his life on family. You know what I mean? Like, so
Ty sounds like every old man in Beaver Falls.
that's what Ty really was. He was just a
I'm good. I'm fine.
he's
I don't
content.
need- yeah,
He's content.
Completely content with everything
He's
going
content.
on.
I mean, he could take care of his kids.
Was that my lob?
He get his kids more money. He stays out of jail. He makes a certain amount of income, but he was just content, just floating.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mr. Sales, who really was the owner of it, he worked. He had a job, and then he ran the barbershop and worked when he could. So he had pretty much like a good 9 to 5, and then he owned the barbershop and maintained it.
Oh, so that
And
was the supplemental income.
Yes, that was like a supplemental income, but you know what I mean. He spent all his money on kids. He had a lot of kids, and he made sure like he took care of his kids. All his kids had houses, cars. So so it's almost like he spent his whole life with his wife, the same woman. You know what I mean? Married his entire life. So he more or less lived like the family life. You know what I mean? He didn't pursue money his entire life. He didn't chase that dollar. He just made sure he had enough to take care of his family, be content, and drive his Cadillac. You know what I mean? Drive his Cadillac.
Right.
That's just what Mr. Sales needed. And then you had Mr. Moon, who, I mean, as an old man, he was
Knowledgeable.
He was more knowledgeable about modern things than me. Like, he knew more about stocks than me. He knew more about like computers and tech and where the world we're going in the future, and that's why you invest in this stock. Like, he was that type of guy. He was a guy that drove a Lexus, you know what I mean, and would park it out front and do 3 shaves a day. But he wasn't even there for the money or the haircuts. He was just there for the conversation, and these are his friends that he's cut for 40, 50 years, and he made more money yesterday just playing around with day stocks than anything today. So
Right.
it almost was like 3 different people's lives, 3 different choices in life. And I feel like God put me there to choose, almost like a crossroads. You know what I
Right.
mean?
All right. 'Cause,
Yeah.
bro, when you told me that story, that shit changed my life.
Yeah.
It's like a rich dad, poor dad story. You know what I'm saying? Like this rich dad, this poor dad. You know what I mean? So from there, you obviously chose, you know what I'm saying, his route. You know what I mean? Like go from there and where the story went from there.
I worked in New Brighton. I got fired, and then I decided to come across the bridge and open my own barbershop in my own time.
How'd you find that joint? Because you found the corner joint, Old Age, right? You know what I'm saying?
I wanted the biggest sign on 7th Avenue. I mean, I wanted
got
the
it.
biggest
My
sign. To the point where
That was
I
the
put it
first
on-
joint. That was the
my
first
first
joint.
one on the corner. I got the building. I finally got approved for it, and like I sent in all the permits and everything.
Okay,
and-
real quick. You said you got the building, so you bought the building.
No, I leased my first barbershop. I leased the corner building so I could have a sign. At the time, it was owned by like a red coat company out of California. So I found the owner, contacted him.
I thought it was a hotel joint. Was it?
It was hotel rooms were above it, but
Above
nothing was
it.
in the hotels.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So I just I brought my business to the corner shop so I could take the sign, and like I filled out all the information and I sent it in, and they must not like have paid attention to like how big I planned on making that sign, because as soon as it went up, it was like 2 hours after the sign went up, the city came straight to my door and was like, you got to take it down.
No, that's not the problem. The problem was, and this is what I
Whoa,
learned.
whoa, hold on.
I learned from
hold on.
you.
Why?
It was
It's like a hazard or something.
What did they say?
Zoning.
What did they say?
zoning.
Zoning.
The reason they said was that
How could it be zoning
it's
if
not.
the sign was already there?
They said that the sign was grandfathered in, but it was grandfathered. That sign was that big for an entire apartment building. I took the sign and made
my
it for
business.
one business.
Feel me?
So I kind of altered the
Either way, the property's the property.
property's a property. So
You found a loophole.
somebody called and complained. I'm
Oh, for sure.
I mean, somebody didn't.
They don't even have to call the city buildings right there. The city manager,
the
who's
cop-
Mickey
imagine-
Jones.
imagine right there.
Imagine being
Or
at a
they-
police
they-
station
they-
and sleep, right?
Then it's like
They click the light on. They click the light on. You're like,
God damn, it's bright as hell.
I know this motherfucker ain't just put a shit up.
what's going on down the street?
So yeah, that was like a lesson learned early, because I learned at that moment, okay, there's this zoning situation where you got to adhere to the laws and the regulations of what's going on in this area.
But they let it ride. Shout out to Beaver Falls.
Even with the light
City
on, they let it
Code.
ride.
They let it ride. Shout out to Beaver Falls.
And you was the only one cutting in there.
yeah,
for a
I was the
minute.
only one cutting.
And then
One of Carter's first cuts of his life.
When I opened my barber shop, there was 6 barber shops in Beaver Falls. There were 6 of them.
for real,
Yeah, there were 6 barber shops.
where the
in
fuck
Beaver
they
Falls.
at?
E.
Oh wait, well,
Last one-
shout out to the
last one
feds.
standing.
That's a come up.
Yeah, we don't really got there's 2 left.
Because didn't you went over to
Ruth
the
Ann
store
cuts.
or whatever,
Ruth
he
Ann
got
cuts her
jammed up?
regulars.
What?
Ruth Ann
Oh,
cuts.
that's
Yeah.
Oh,
when he
yeah.
got.
happened?
When I'm saying when he got jammed up.
Yeah.
Then you got that. Then you got the front.
Ruth Ann cuts her regulars.
My man
have
Rome
no
came
idea
and
what
joined me. And you know what I mean? When Rome left, he came,
K
joined me
Cott
at
was
the
cutting
chop
over at the
shop.
other joint too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
caught.
off
And
road.
then I went back and told him I wanted to buy his building and move my business down the street.
Moon, K Cott, Ty.
down the
Liberty.
hey, listen, and then he moved it to the most phenomenal shop you can really have around the area.
And then all the businesses is rocking. People's passing by there every day. It's right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I mean,
Perfect area.
They can go to that with the whatever. It's not Eckerd anymore, but whatever it's called. Like it's like it's a one stop shop. Like, are we gonna go over here and parlay? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get my hair cut on. You know what I'm saying? And then be like, you could just hang out.
It's a blessing.
One thing I want to talk
God's
about, like,
plan.
so I don't even know if this is even on the podcast, like, what we want to talk about. I just wanted to ask you, you being a barber, that was not your end all be all goal, right?
No.
It wasn't your end all be all goal. What was your motivation? What is still your motivation to keep growing past that? You know what I mean? Like, because that's a huge thing to me when I see you. Like, you had a barbershop, which is a lot of end all. Why learn a craft and not make that your dream,
your everyday job.
your everyday job? Like, is it?
there's
Or
coins to be made.
what are you chasing? What are you chasing beyond?
Generational wealth. Generational wealth.
So so what you had there was just a starting point to propel you to
Well, he said earlier,
real
he said,
estate,
I
to
can't get
propel you
fired.
to other shit that you got going on.
I quit chasing success for myself a long time ago. I mean, you get to a certain point to where I could get any car I personally wanted. You know what I mean? I could take a trip to anywhere in the country I personally wanted. But I'm not chasing things for myself no more. I'm chasing for my kids. I'm chasing for my grandkids. I'm chasing for the kids after them because I don't ever want to leave them in a situation like mine. It's a quote that I heard that I live by, and it states that strong men create easy times, and weak men create easy times. I mean hard times. Strong men create easy times, and weak men create hard times.
Strong men make easy times.
Yes.
Easy times make weak men.
Yes.
Weak men make hard times.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And what it symbols down to is a guy says that his father walked 10 miles to work every single day. And his grandfather, his father walked 10 miles to work every single day. He walked 5 miles to work every single day. His son drove a Cadillac to work every day. His son drove a Mercedes Benz to work every day. His grandson drove a Lamborghini, and his great grandson walked all over again. So it's almost like if you don't set your kids up to a point where, like, you know they're gonna make mistakes, you know they're gonna make errors, but if you don't put them in a situation where, like, they can recover, if you don't build them with the mindset, the same mindset you have, it's hunger. You know what I mean? Like, I want my kids to remember I chased it, I went at it, I did everything possible, and hopefully some of that rubs off. I ain't saying all of it, you know what I mean? But hopefully some of that rubs off to where.
I mean, it's
You
hard.
gotta
It's
get it.
hard for it to rub off when you're in such a great situation where they don't have to deal with none of the bullshit that you ever dealt with in your entire life.
But that's
hard.
almost natural
Because,
in life.
because literally,
That's like I said,
literally,
it's a cycle.
Carter,
It's a cycle.
bruh,
'Cause
like,
his
like we'll talk about it. We'll
grandkids
talk
might
about it
know
all
him.
day. Carter, he's never lived the lifestyle that I ever had to live. Carter's never had a bill shut off. Carter eats sushi once a week.
That sounds crazy.
It never will happen.
Literally,
I didn't
literally,
know
like
sushi was till I was like 20.
Carter lives. You know what I'm saying? Like Carter got 11 pairs of shoes right now.
That's wild.
Carter
Right
was
now.
on a plane and ate sushi before I did.
Literally,
Seriously.
my son's ate sushis, been on planes, flying around the country. Like I take him everywhere. He's been to these certain kind of places. He lives no type of lifestyle that I've ever lived in my entire life. You know what I'm saying? So we've been blessed.
So what you're saying, we're those weak men that are gonna make hard times?
No,
No.
we're the men who come from the hard times.
We're the men that come from the hard times.
that are going to
Production.
create the easy times that
Exactly.
might
No, these are the easy times now. That's what I'm saying.
right.
So
it
so
might mess
We
around.
down there. We
and
down there
make-
for. We down there
make we men.
for Kyle's wedding. Carter amongst the whole bullshit, having a good time with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I forgot about
And my
that.
Kid,
I remember that.
My kids is going to always be a part of that. Like literally, I took my son. Like I said in the last part, I took my son to go see Van Gogh, a Van Gogh art show the other day.
That's thorough.
Literally, because
when they
you're
do
not going to think that it's just nothing but sports all the time. You're going to go out here and see this art.
All right.
Just be a part of it. Just be a part of it. We're going to see it. You might not like it.
Let's hit the
But when
science
you
right
get
there.
older, you're going to feel it. You're going to understand it. You're going to know it. You know what I'm saying? I feel we've had bad times and we've grown from them a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like we're nowhere near where our parents.
right from where they came from, like
How much
like
they
my
struggle.
dad was crazy.
Even to how much we struggle.
Is that
You
a
know,
is that a
growing
testament
up.
to them?
No, that's what it is because they
they
created
suffered.
they
I
created
think it's
easier
a
times for
testament
you.
to them.
You're trying to create easier times for your kid. Because you're like people don't have to live like this.
Yeah.
Like when you get older, you start realizing like, oh fuck that. Why's my water shutting off? This is some bullshit. You mean I thought you just got
Bro,
the
that's
neighbor's
never happened
hose
in
and put-
life.
But that's what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter.
It could never happen. It could never happen.
but you're conditioning them-
Imagine,
so you wanna
imagine
make-
my
you wanna
son.
give him
Imagine my
false
son
hard
without
times?
him wanting to. Imagine my son. And this is me personally. That's not a shot to nobody else. Eating ramen noodles. Not happening, bro.
So the real question.
No.
I got ramen noodles at the crib right
No,
now.
no,
for
no.
myself.
No, that's just
He ain't
me.
playing no game.
That's my
you gotta
one.
look at,
That's
like-
my one. That's my one thing. That's my one thing. That ramen noodle thing that I just said. That's my one.
That's your punchline.
Let's talk about the quote though, because
That's my one
because-
feel. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I don't want
Like stop that.
my son
Like,
to
we're-
like to just go in here and just so he can
Hey, you
just
know what's
put
funny?
some shit in his belly.
And see, that's cool, but like
Fuck that shit. He
I
ain't
guess
just putting something in
I
his
guess the
belly.
question is to avoid the next generation who ended up walking again and bringing it back. Like, how do we as men who are kind of breaking generational cycles from finances and all of that? How do we make sure that our next generation still develops somewhat sort of a dog to want to dig, to want to grind, to want to grow, although they didn't suffer in the same way that we suffer?
I
You know
think
what I'm
they
saying? Like, what can we do?
make them work early. Like just
True,
like,
true.
Let them know that like, okay, if you want bread,
Parenting is
stop,
huge.
Stop coming to me for it. Go get your own bread. 'Cause
Parenting
you
is
get out
huge.
there.
Parenting is huge. 100%. Like you cannot give everything that you can possibly give to your kid.
Right. That's why I'm pussy.
You cannot do it. Like him, me. I know he doesn't. He doesn't give his kids everything that they have.
He
everything,
might.
everything
You don't
they
know.
want. You can't.
He
You
got to
can't.
answer that question for
He
himself.
can't. So I've talked to him about it a bunch of times, and he told me, I give my daughter
Yeah.
everything.
yeah.
I give my daughter everything.
Let's make sure she don't end up with.
Yes. So it's,
you got to, man. I mean, I never had sisters, and I never raised a daughter besides my
Right, and
own,
daddy's
but-
little girl's a real thing.
Exactly, but like you give your daughter everything. You know what I mean? Everything, time, materialistic. You spoil them so that no other man could ever use that as a way to, you know what I mean? I give her everything
Manipulate her.
to manipulate her. I want to give my daughter everything she could possibly imagine, so where when she finds somebody, it would be somebody she likes. It's not because she likes for this reason or she likes for this or you impressed her with this.
And raise her expectations. So it's like when she
Yes.
gets older, she's like, oh, I'm not going to this state school. I'm going to a university
Exactly.
because I got what I needed. I did what I was supposed to do.
Exactly.
This is my jump.
I agree.
I don't need a ride in your car.
Yeah, 'cause I
Daddy
was-
bought me my own.
Daddy bought my own car.
I was
I
mad.
got my own car.
I'm good.
I don't need to chill at your house.
I was
got my own.
mad that my 2-year-old daughter let me manipulate her today. I needed her to take some ibuprofen because she's teething. And I said, And she said, oh, let me get that. I was like, okay, you know what? The fuck you let me fucking manipulate. I was pissed that she let me manipulate it.
Taking it too
Right,
far.
right. It happened.
It's like, I need you to take the medicine, but damn, I'm thinking of the young boy.
You supposed to
down the
ask
street
why.
Who gonna do this?
Ask
you know
why,
what?
what is it? Something. You know
I'm
what I'm
like,
saying?
no, like we gotta fix this. You can't be. You can't be easily.
It's hard.
So you're the same old
literally,
bird.
when it comes to having kids,
Levels.
it's so when you're I hate saying the kind of shit on the pod.
Go ahead.
When you're doing better than what your parents were doing.
When you broke generational curses.
Yeah. Oh, that's a better way
When
to
you're
say it.
aspiring to.
When you're doing better than when you're aspiring to do better than your parents and breaking general curses.
Generational.
That's what I said.
You get it?
generational.
They know you. They know we drink. Go ahead.
You said general. You said general curses, and I was like,
They
Damn.
I was like,
I
that
said
was
general curses.
Add it.
Yeah, edit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
Let's
started
go.
over.
No, literally, I feel like I literally, I looked
boy's
you had- I
wild.
looked at your face.
This
I had
boy
something
is
so
wild.
fire, and I looked at your face.
I
fucked
couldn't
it up.
hold it back. I almost got him. I was like, this motherfucker. Listen, man, go ahead. When you're aspiring to do better than what your parents did, you're breaking generational curses. You see, you see the future that your parents didn't see.
The Nunians, you still know what like Jackie Chan and like other like Chinese people have planned.
Do you read?
Yeah, you have to read, bro.
Hold on, tell me. Like I know you read now.
Yeah, you have to read.
This motherfucker.
I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until just now. Like having your conversations with you right now. You read.
Yeah, you have to read, bro. I mean, you don't read, you don't get smarter. You got to continue to learn.
It's a bustle.
They give
What
away.
do you do? Do you do audiobooks or do you like read the actual?
It's really just articles and like right now I'm real big on like where what am I reading from? Like where is this information
Yeah,
coming
I need
from?
to trust my
Yeah, exactly.
Because people always try to spin you somewhere.
Thank
and
you,
they'd be like
bruh.
this. Because you read something, it'll be like this. I'm like, why are they using these trigger words?
Exactly.
Why are they trying to? Because you see it on like Yahoo or whatever.
So
That's good.
It's almost like not conspiracy theory, but it's like I really dig into like people, but like Chinese people and like people over there, like they don't give their kids their inheritance, and not even that. Like even some people in like the United States, like when they pass away, they'll give their kid like Jackie Chan. He's gonna give his son like 10% of his,
I
of
heard
his
this.
total earnings.
I read this.
So 90% of his
he's
total
rich
earnings
as
is
fuck.
going to charity. You see what I'm saying? It's going to
dope.
charities, and his son is only getting
Is it?
10%. And the reason why is because he doesn't want to leave his son with a crutch.
Right.
You know what I mean? To where he doesn't feel the urge to get up every day and go to work and be the best man he can and to chase and to continue to grow. So he purposely is starving them. And some people like disagree with it completely. Like, why would you give that to your son? And
They're
this is
probably
his
broke.
mindset. It's in his will.
They're probably
But
broke. If they feel that way, they're probably broke.
Oh,
If
know
you
what's
look
funny?
into it, a lot of people over there, that's what they do.
And if you want to
Yeah.
look,
It's
if you want to look
it's
into
a tradition.
America or just the richest people around the world, you know what they are? They're inherited wealth.
That's scary.
Yes.
So for them
That
doing that,
situation-
I get it, but at the same time, the people that are running
that
literally
situation is
politics
scary though.
worlds,
That situation is scary though. Like,
there's a
would you not want to?
juxtaposition
Would
there.
you not want to die and just
It depends
give
on-
your kid everything and just pray that they do everything? Like,
It
pray
depends
you
on
were a
who
good
you are.
father.
But if you have a certain
Pray you were a
income
good
in
father.
America-
You rather bet on the fact that you raise your kid, right?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're betting on that.
I'd rather bet on. I told Carter and I preached to him what he needs to do and how he needs to be as a man. I want to be able to give this to you. I don't want to put you in a situation where I give you a certain kind of money and then now I'm dead and my son can't move how he needs to be able to move.
I agree.
In my mind,
Right,
that's,
because
that's how
once
I
they have
feel.
access to everything, then they want excess of everything.
That's
You
what I'm
know
saying. I feel like I've taught. I feel like I've taught enough things.
I just barred.
I feel like I've taught enough things to be able to.
What's a bar?
You know what I'm saying? Like your daughter. Like I feel like you've taught her enough things to where if anything happened to you, you can leave her with an inheritance to where she can be able to
Take care of herself.
take care of
invest it, you know
herself,
what I'm saying? Like,
tackle
she-
everything.
Absolutely. That's the plan.
Do you have conversations with your kids every week
About what?
about life?
Every day.
No.
Every day.
So what I mean about life, so I had the conversations about life all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean like just basic, like how you doing, like how was your day? But do you set apart time to reach to your kids to tell them about things they need to be doing? I do it once a week. Once a week is
I do it.
is my
I
thing.
do it
Like,
every chance I get.
Okay.
I mean, I do it in car
I try-
rides.
I
I,
try-
do
I
it at the crib. Like
yeah,
I do it.
okay.
I do it constantly throughout the day because you got to catch it. Then you got to show them then like how
You're
this
like, hey, you
applies
see
to
that?
life.
That's all you gotta do.
You know what I mean? And not only that, there's school and there's education and then there's just life. Like there's some things about life you just got to teach your kids that are about life. They're never going to learn it in a textbook. They're never going to learn it in a classroom. There's some things you just have to teach them and show them, and that comes from experiences. That comes from this just happened. This is how you should react.
Right.
And if you don't react like this, then look, this is going to continue to happen until you do this. And then guess what they do? And it's like, see, I told you. Like,
Right.
And it's almost like that's every day. There is no once a week, sit down, let's just talk about this. It's every single chance I get, this is what we're doing.
Man, appreciate you coming, man. The advice, your experience, your story, everything, man, who you are, man. I appreciate you. You're an example for the young bucks who want to go from nothing to eating, you know what I mean? Breaking generational curses. Like, I truly appreciate you. I know we the same age, but you're always someone who anytime I need some, yo, Cole, what's up? You know somebody?
Yeah, he's
You
been
know,
walking
constantly.
He's
you know
been
what I'm
walking through the
saying?
fire ahead of people for a while, so it's like he's going to be the one that's like,
Right.
You know what I mean? The mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's got to reach
And
back a
you
little
you
bit.
and you ain't never held back no info. You know
Nah,
what I'm saying?
never.
It's always been like, yo, bro, here. You know what I'm saying? Straight to the point too. Ain't never been no sugarcoating. It's always been, nah, bro, this is my opinion. Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that personally and as a community. They might not know it, but the community, you know what I'm saying, appreciates it. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, bro.
So
All right, cool.
I mean, literally, it's real. That's real.
Give him his flowers.
Huge thing for me
Appreciate
is
it.
like, I don't care what no adult says, man. The kids love him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I love
That-
them.
It's because he's showing up though. It's just
That's
like,
literally
like,
he's
he got
showing
into
up. He's
something.
showing up constantly for these kids, and not on a coaching aspect. He's showing up for these kids. He's feeding these kids. He's taking these kids home because, like, as a coach, that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? I've known that since I've been coaching since Carter's been 4 or 5 years old. I got to take kids home. I got to pay for kids to get some food at night. You know what I'm saying? He does the same exact thing.
Yeah, but there was
You know what
always
I'm saying?
people
We
that did that in our life too.
100%.
Shout out to Los.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There was always
That's
that
real
one
life.
person that was like,
That's
I
real
need
life.
to do this because this is what I know now.
That's
Cal,
real life.
And we know
Cal
how
ain't
much
have
that
no
means.
food.
No, that's real life.
Still don't.
Damn.
Keely got to catch a shot too. Fuck him.
No, but real life. We've all had those certain kind of coaches.
Last time I see Cal, he was meal prepper. He put like a picture of was like meal prepper stuff. It's like you just said that. It's like, damn.
Fuck him. You know what I mean? Fuck him.
I just seen this nigga meal prepper.
We've all had those coaches. I had little league coaches that live a couple blocks away from my house. I can go down to,
The chips fucking with your sinuses?
oh my
Yeah,
goodness,
them is fire.
fire actually.
Yeah, them bitches fire.
It's them hers.
Go ahead.
I need something.
Crazy.
Bro, they're fire.
These bitches is unreal.
Yeah, them is definitely top tier boys right there.
What up?
But-
Let's take these photos. Bro.
No. We good.